Hello and welcome to Chubby Pug Yarn Podcast. My name is Emma and I'm your host. And today Alphonse, the pug, decided to join you in a welcome. He's a very snuggly boy today. It's been quite a long time since he was on the podcast to say hello. He usually snores in the sofa. So he has gotten a bit older, but he's still just as snuggly. So yeah, I thought I should take some time today to record a podcast, finally. I have been planning this podcast for over a month, where, I don't know, March just disappeared on us. So I had no clue. I planned to record the week or 2 weeks after I recorded last, and then we had some colds. I got a cold, the kid got a cold, the husband got a cold. Pug didn't get a cold, but he has a tooth that needs extracting, so we're having some projects going on, and right now we're without a car. So yeah, it's exciting times. But anyways, time flies. I've been meaning to record for a long time, and since I haven't been able to record, I have been knitting a lot. So I have a lot of finished objects. Some of them you haven't even seen. But I will try to show you as much of it as I have time to, and otherwise I will try to record, not in a month again, but perhaps sooner, hopefully. So yeah, perhaps I should let you down. Mwah. So yeah, I have been knitting a lot since we have been home sick, and not too sick to knit, so that's the best version of sick. So I better just jump to it. I showed you probably last time a winter hat that I knitted for myself, with a pom-pom on top, the Domus beanie, and I wanted to do something with the scraps immediately, so I cast on and bound off really quickly this cute little bonnet. So this pattern is called the Sunshine Bonnet. It's a pattern from Katarina Linnhagen, Hagenhuset. She's a Swedish designer, but I'm pretty sure that the pattern is available in English as well. I have heard a lot of good things about it, that the fit is very good, and it's really squishy since it's garter, all over garter, and it's a really fun construction, and you have this beautiful finish with an I-cord all around it. So I used up almost all of the scraps, so I just had a tiny little ball, so I was very pleased to use up this. So this yarn I got at the D-Stash. Caroline from Dunder Knit had D-Stash in 2017, I think, and I bought this skein, so now I have used it up in a hat for me and this little bonnet. So yeah. I just gotta say that I'm really interested to see how much of the dog noises that will be picked up now. I have a new microphone, so I haven't tried it more than checking sound check. So I don't know, because now it's just under my chair, and I don't know how well the noises will be picked up. But anyways, I hope it will not be too disturbing. And after I finished the bonnet, I have been on a hat craze in February, because I knitted the Merida hat that I showed you last time. I finished it up, and also I have finished 2 baby bear balaclavas from Knitting for Olive. I knitted one for Hugo, and then a teacher in the kindergarten asked if I could knit one for her kid, and absolutely, it's a fun knit, and she wanted a smaller size than the one I have knitted for Hugo. So 3 more hats. Unfortunately, both the Merida hat and the baby bear balaclava are with Hugo in the kindergarten. So hopefully I can insert pictures of them so you can see them. They are really cute, both of them. So yeah. And then I actually have some project finished that I can show you since I have them here. The funny thing with all like Hugo knits is that I finish them, I wash them, and then like label them, and then they are off to the kindergarten, and then I don't see them until they're grown out. But yeah, I have a huge shawl that you haven't seen, because I remember that I talked last time about the fact that I had gotten the yarn. I had gotten some Christmas yarn money, and I bought some yarn from Hillesvåg, their Vidde yarn, and I was contemplating last time if I should dye the skeins and knit something, or if I just should knit something in the grey. And I ended up with knitting in the grey. So here, in all its glory, I can't fit it in the screen. Here it is, my beautiful, beautiful shawl. So this is the Honeymoon Shawl by Andrea Mowry. So it's actually quite a quick knit. You do this honeycomb stitch on quite a big part, and then you do some lace at the end, and it's like an elongated triangle shape. It's really plump and it's really big, as you can see. So I have used it more like a blanket or something, or tried to like wrap it around, like when driving the car or something. Since I'm a very warm person, I do not like jackets or big coats, but I prefer to use like several layers of wool, and then I found out that this is really nice to like bunch up in. But now it's too warm, so I have used it a lot in February and some in March, but now I haven't even told you that it's April when I'm recording. Oh, I'm so out of routine. But anyways, yeah, I finished all of it, and it took less than 5 skeins of Hillesvåg Vidde, and I'm really pleased about it. Yeah, and then after that I finished an old FO. I have had some plans to like reduce my UFO pile and have more control over my stash. So I picked up an UFO from 2017, my tiny Oslo Anorak. It was the size 2 years, but when I picked it up, I had knitted like the body, it's knitted bottom up. So I have knitted to the body all the way up to where the sleeves were supposed to go. And it's knitted on 5mm needles, so it's a quick knit. So I just picked up the sleeves, knitted them, bunched it together and knitted the hoodie, and it was finished in no time. The longest time it took was to find buttons in the right size. But even though Hugo is quite tall, he's turning 3 this summer, the 1.5 to 2 year old sweater fits him, so he has it on in kindergarten, so I can't show it. But if I have any pictures, I will insert it here. So yeah. Then I have some other... I have done some test knitting. So I have a scarf that I test knitted, that I have used a lot now when the weather has been a little bit milder but still windy. This pattern is available in both Swedish and English. It's also from Hagenhuset, Katarina Linnhagen. So here is my scarf. I should have probably rolled it up. So yeah, it's a brioche scarf with like an I-cord round edge on both sides, and it's knitted with one strand of Isager Alpaca 2, and then you alternate. You keep one strand of the alpaca with one strand of silk mohair, and then you swap the silk mohair throughout your scarf. So I have, it's perfect for like mohair scraps, and I have 5 different colors. So I have a Filcolana Tilia silk mohair in a dark grey, freesia, mustard, light grey, and aubergine, I believe. So, and it was a really satisfying project, actually. The brioche and the stripes wants you to just knit and knit and knit and knit, so it's a lot quicker than I thought, since I haven't been knitting scarves since I learned to knit, probably. But I really liked it, and it's really airy, but warm. So it's a really, really nice one. And she also have like a color chart, so you can color in and plan your colors beforehand if you want to. And it's probably a good, quite a good beginner pattern for brioche if you haven't tried it before, since it's just one color, but you get this really nice effect when swapping the colors. So a stash buster, if you have a lot of different colored silk mohairs, as many has at least. And I really want to knit several of these, but I only had like these colors of mohair in stash, but perhaps I can gather up some other silk mohair scraps from friends or something, so I can make another one, because I really liked it. So I can really recommend it, and her patterns are very clear and really good. I'm not saying it just because I test knitted. I have no obligations to do so. I'm just a very satisfied test knitter and customer, since I have bought a lot of her patterns before. So yeah. Then I have... I had plans to talk about this throughout the month of March, but I didn't have the time since I didn't record. So there was a Swedish knit-along from the 2 Swedish podcasters, Pamela Stickar and Jess Knits. They wanted to talk about or enlighten on the illness endometriosis. And I don't have it myself, but I know about it, and it's it's a tough one, and a lot of people have it without knowing it. You often get dismissed with like, you're just having menstrual cramps or menstrual pain, it's just toughen up. So it's really horrible that so few know about it. And they made a knit-along where they wanted to collect money and also knit a mitten pattern. And this mitten pattern I actually wanted to knit like, it must have been like New Year's 2018, 2019 when the pattern was released. So the pattern is from Karin Holmström, and it's called Livmodervanten, uterus mittens. It's available in English as well. So I should just pop it on so you can see. So here are my mittens. I'm really pleased with the fit on these, and you need to focus a little bit on the color work, and there are some places where you have like 7 or 9 stitches in one color. If you haven't knitted color work before, it's a higher risk of getting an like uneven color work if you have too long of a strand of jumps on the inside. So when you have too many stitches in one color in a row, you need to catch the float from the other color on the backside to prevent it from getting uneven and from you catching your fingers in it. So it's not like the easiest mittens, but they are really beautiful, and if you just have a little bit of brain space, it's a really nice mitten to knit. I saw that a lot of people in the Facebook group for this knit along shortened their mittens, but I have quite large hands, so for me I have my fingers all the way to the top, and yeah, I really like them. I knitted mine in Hillesvåg Ask. It's kind of similar to Rauma Finul, but a little bit on the thicker side. So since I have quite big lady hands, I prefer like the fabric I get when I knit with a little bit of a thicker 2-ply wool yarn. I like Finul a lot, I use it a lot as well, but this is more durable and it's easier for me to get the right size. So yeah, a pair of mittens for me, purple, who would have been surprised? And yeah, perhaps I should have actually showed you this when I talked about the Merida hat, because I was so pleased when I finished the Merida hat, the green and yellow brioche hat for Hugo, that I improvised like this neck collar thing for him, and in the scraps. So I used up all the yarn, and we drove to kindergarten, and he threw up in the car when he got sick. And when we came home, my husband so kindly took his overalls and threw it in the washer, and the collar as well. So this is like the sad thing about non-superwash. It's completely felted. So, and I don't have any yarn left. So yeah, it was finished, it was really cute, and it served its purpose, but we only got to use it on like from driving from home to the kindergarten. But it was finished, and now I'm going to probably throw it away. It's too small to use for anything as it is. So that's a bit sad, but hey, that's what happens. And then I have 2 stuffies, which is not very common for me. I should probably show you the newest one that I have knitted now. So this is a pattern from Susan B. Anderson. I believe it's like a collaboration with Barrett's Wool. I'm not completely sure, but yeah. The pattern is called Elephant and Mouse, and I have only knitted the elephant. So the card you can take off the cardigan completely, and then you have this cute elephant. So the elephant is knitted in a fingering weight. I used moods of colors, sock yarn through Corridale non-superwash, and then I had some scraps of Hillesvåg Embla from a sweater I knitted for myself. So it was a really fun project, and I think it's really, really cute. And yeah, not much more to say. I think it's adorable. And then I brought up another, or I didn't brought this UFO actually. My son did. I crocheted this Stegosaurus in 2014. And I probably assembled it in 2015 or 2016, but I hadn't made these plates for the back. And now my son is learning a lot about dinosaurs, and he recognized that this is a Stegosaurus that I had on my shelf, and he wanted me to pick it down, and I thought, yeah, he can play with it, no problem. Then he came down on Saturday morning saying, but mommy, he doesn't have his plates. He needs plates for his back. So I took a day to crochet the plates. So now the Stegosaurus is finally complete. It's probably one of my oldest UFOs. Hugo is satisfied with this, and I'm also happy that the Stegosaurus finally got his plates. So this is a pattern from, I believe she's called Heidi Bears. She made like this African flower bear and dragon, and I have made the hippo before, and so he has a hippo and a Stegosaurus. So yeah, feels like I have been like throwing all my finished objects on you. But now that I'm finally done with that, I can move on to whips, which will be a very short thing since I only have 2. That's one of the crazy things when you finish a lot of stuff and you don't have the brain space to start a lot of new projects. You just continue on things you have around you, or at least I do. And I showed you this last time. I don't remember how far I had gotten, probably not that far. I'm knitting Den Runda Filten, the round blanket. So it's almost finished, and it got a lot bigger than I thought. I must have miscalculated somewhere. But yeah, it's 5 colors, and I'm actually at the bind off. The original pattern you do like a garter edge, but I knitted one of these for Hugo before, and I decided to do an I-cord, and I'm doing the same. So it's above 700 stitches that I need to bind off, and I have this much left. So this will probably be finished today, and I need to weave in the ends. So yeah, a big springtimey blanket. And this is the second project I will be finishing from my Make 9. So, or Make 9 from Stash even. So this is all Hillesvåg ask. I don't have the color names in my mind, but just ask if you want to know, and I can check it out. So yeah, by the next time this will be finished, I probably have 100 I-cord stitches left. The thing about I-cords is that you need to knit 4 stitches for every stitch you bind off, and if you have above 700 stitches from the beginning, it's a lot of stitches. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's turning out. And then I have a project that I cast on yesterday. It's a really quick one. The perks of knitting for a kid and using big needles. So, the Norwegian company Sandnes released this pattern booklet not too long ago. And I actually had my eyes on the teddy bear sweater. I wanted to knit this for Hugo. I think it's really cute. But then I realized that all his like a little bit thicker and warmer sweaters were too small, too short in the sleeves and too short in the body. So I'm actually knitting this one. It's the translated will be Billy's striped sweater. And I'm trying out a yarn I haven't tried before. So the yarn is also from Sandnes. And it's called Kos. So it's baby alpaca, wool and nylon. And it's kind of a knitted tube. It's really light. It goes as a bulky weight. Let's see. It's 150 meters on 50 grams. But it's really light and airy, and it's recommended to knit on like 5.5 millimeter needles. So I cast on yesterday, and this is how far I have gotten. Yes, this is the front. So it's an oversized striped sweater. You have short rows in the back. I should probably hold it up like this. So it's longer in the back than in the front to get better coverage in the neck. And then you just knit a very straight up sweater. It has a ribbing in the raglan, so it's a 5-stitch raglan ribbing. So it's really light and it's probably quite warm, so I will need to finish it before it gets too warm outside. But now we have like 0 degrees again. We had a really nice Easter, but now it's colder, and so he will probably have use of this still. The only thing was for me that it's supposed to be oversized, but when I checked Hugo's chest measurements, he was closer, he was a lot smaller than this 2-year-old size, and the 4-year-old size was like more than 20 centimeters of ease for him. And yeah, kids can use positive ease as well, but I figured at 20 centimeters of more than 20 centimeters of ease, it will be very bulky under a jacket. So what I did is that I'm knitting it with like the stitch count from the 2-year-old size. So I get, I believe it was like 15 centimeters of positive ease. And then actually when I'm knitting in the round, my gauge is slightly tighter. So I figured it's perfect, since then the width will be smaller, and I don't mind. the husband came home from delivering in kindergarten. Luckily he takes the bicycle so I can stay home and podcast. So yeah, altogether if I use the 2-year-old size in width and knit the 4-year-old size in length, he can have it for longer without it being too bulky in the sleeves or like under the jacket or so. So yeah, that's all the work in progress I have as of right now. I haven't planned any, like what the next UFO should be. So I will probably show you in a later episode. I need to do some looking around in my stash and in my UFO piles and see what I should pick up next. I'm leaning towards socks since I have a lot of single socks waiting for the partners. So that's probably what I'm going to work on next. But I want to finish like the round blanket first. So yeah, we will see. And I think I will going to do like a special recording for my Make 9. I have mentioned it briefly both in last episode and in this episode. That's I figure it's better to do it in like an episode by itself. So if you're interested, you can watch it, and if you're not, you don't have to. And then I can pick out all the yarn since I'm doing the Make 9 with a stash edition. So I'm only going to use yarn that was in my stash before New Year's. So I could probably take some time to pick out all the yarn, and I can show you what yarn I'm planning to use for all those 9 projects. But now 2 of them are almost finished, so the 7 that are left. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, I hope you're having a really nice day, and hopefully we can talk again in not a too far distant future. Take care. Bye.